Leonard Ablat Gemara. Today is Wednesday, and we're up to the new Pedic, the third Pedic, Tez Zayin Amid Aleph. The Mishnah says, in fact, we already had this Mishnah previously, and we already explained it at length. Machlekes of Bar Poda and Rav Masna, how long a Nazir should be, where Bar Poda said the Nazir is 29 days Ma'atoida, and then we concluded with the Rabbanon, we added another day, but with the Yevid, if you finish on 29 days, it's all right. He doesn't believe in the concept of Mixas Hayem Kekule. You don't need to because it's only 29 days, the 30 days is the Rabbanon. So the Yevid, if you shave in the 30th day, it's all right. And Rav Masna is of the opinion that no, you need 30 days. And the 31st day is when you bring your kabbanas and everything else. However, he does believe in mixayen kekule, which means on the 30th day, if you took a haircut, you're already also good, you're all right, because mixayen kekule. And he explains on Machlekes Tanaim, which we'll come across soon, where according to Rav Masna, they're arguing whether we say mixes hayen kekule right from the beginning or only after you bring your kabbanas. Then we say, well, part of the day already went by. It's as if the whole day went by. So we already had most of this mission before. Let's go through it quickly. Misha Amar, if somebody says Hareni Nazir, somebody says I'm a Nazir. It's the 31st day. The gilach liyom shleishim yatzeh. With the evid, if you shaved on the 30th day, you are yatzeh. According to Bar Poda, because Mahatayda 29 days, that's all you need. It's only to Rabban on the 30th. According to Ramasna, you need 30 days, but mix a kulei. But if you said Hareini Nazir shleishim yom, you said it'll be a Nazir for 30 days. Im gilach liyom shleishim. If you actually shaved on the 30th day, lo yatzeh. According to everybody, not yatzeh. Why not yatzeh? Because according to because all you had to say was I'm a Nazir. A Nazir automatically means 30 days. By adding shleishim yom, but you're trying to add something. And what do you add? Rabbi Kiva we learned before. If you add words, extra words that are redundant, you're trying to add something. You want 30 complete days. And according to Bamaster, because he said, according to Bapada, because he said 30 days, and obviously it's 30 days as well, not the normal Nazir of 29. That's why you're not Yates. Case number 3, Misha Nazir Stay Nazir. So somebody said it'll be a Nazir twice. So the first one, you should shave Yom Shleishim Ve'echad, 31st day, 30 whole days, and then 31st. According to everybody. The second one, Yom Shishim Ve'echad. So you start then on the 31st day, and then the 30 days later, and then the 31st. Which is 61. But the Yevi did 30 days. We said in the beginning of the Mishnah, not a problem. It's good. But the second one, you still try to do a full 30 days. So Yom Shishi, we do the 60th day. 30 plus 20, plus 29. So if 30 days later is 60, and the Chatchila, you should do it on the 60th day. If the Yevi you did it on the 59th day, Yotza. Because the 30th day that you shaved your head was the 30th day of the last 30 days, but it's also Mixay and Kula is the beginning of the next count. So, but the Evid, the 59th day, you can conclude. Zuedus hey the puppies. This is the testimony the puppies gave Amisha Nazir. Somebody made two Nazir. If you shave the first one, Yom Shleishim on the 3rd day, Megalech es Tashnei Yom Shishim. The second one on the 60th. Im Gilach Yom Shishim Chaser Echim did on the 59th day, Yatsa Yaitza. Why? Because the 30th day can be counted as the Mitzvah Yom from the first lot and Mitzvah Yom from the second lot. Next case. Misha Amar, somebody said, Hareini Nazir, somebody said, I'll be a Nazir. And then Nitma Yom Lamed, on the 30th day, you became Tamei. Then Seisir es HaKol. You cancel everything. Well, according to Bamasta, because 30 days is Mahatayda Naziris, well, on the 30th day you became Tameh. He cancels the Tay Naziris. However, according to Bapada, Mahatayda 29 days is all right. This is the 30th day. It's only Midrabanan. So it's Midrabanan that we say that we cancel your Naziris. And therefore, if it's the Rabbanan, you cancel your Naziris. And why would the Rabbanan cancel the Naziris? Because next time you might say 30 days, it's Rabbanan. You might say 30 days, and then you'd think, well, the 30th day of ever come tummy is not a problem. And there definitely it will be a problem because clearly you said 30 days. So therefore, Rabbanan, we're going to say that as if you're tamei, but you will not bring any kabbanas which are specific for tumah, because you really didn't become tamei during your Nazir's period, according to Bar Pada. Rabbi Lezer disagrees. He says, Eino Seiset El Shiva. Rabbi Lezer says you only cancel 7 days. Well, according to Bar Pada, Rabbi Lezer is saying very simply, I don't believe in this gzeira. I don't, you finish reading this. It's only Rabbanan. You add a day. But to say that it became tummy, we're going to make a gzeira, treat you as if you're tummy and count it up 7 days. No, we're not going to do that. That far, we're not going to go. And according to Rav Masna, Rabbi Lezer holds that mixes hayenka kula. So you already finish your whole naziris. If you finish your naziris, you become tamei. There's no point in canceling before, because naziris is over. You just got to wait 7 days till you get out of your tumah, and then you go ahead and you can conclude your naziris. The kabbanis and everything else you have to do. Something about further. If you said you'd be nazir for 3 days, you said you'll be in nazir for 30 days. Nitma yom shleishim. If you became tamei on the 30th day, says it as hakol. There's no argument that you say everything again, because you clearly said 30 days. So therefore, it's the full 30 days. No mixed ayenka kula. You even call it about pada because you spelled it out. 30 days, and you're nazir for 30 days, and therefore nothing gets cancelled. Taking them out further. Hareini nazir. If he says he'll be in nazir meya for 100 days, nitma yom meya. If he became tamei on the 100th day, so he says hakol. You cancel everything because it's still part of the whole thing, and you cancel everything. However, Rabbi Lezer says, he learned from a pasuk where it says, you may nizra, that we cancel, and you may nizra, and nazir normally 30 days. So how much I'm going to cancel? Not the entire 100 days, just you have to do again 30 days. What about nitma yom meya ve'echad, the 101st day? So the 100 days are over, but now you have to bring your kabbanis. Is according to Chum, in this case, we're going to be goyzim midrabanan to only to limit you that you only can lose 30 days. You got to repeat it. And Rabbi Lezer says in this case we're not going to be goyzim at all. We only have the 7 days. You came tamei, so you got to wait the 7 days. Says the Gemara, Misha, if somebody said which is not Mishnah, but nitma yom shleishim came tamei on the 30th day. So he says, according to the Rabbanan, you cancel everything. Rabbi Lezer says only 7. Only cancel 7. Kesava Rabbi Lezer. Rabbi Lezer says, "Kol acha malei shiva says." Rabbi Lezer says, since your time is up, your 30 days are up, and because he holds that Naziris is only 29 days, so therefore your only says is 7 days. And 7 days is to wait to come out of your tumah, and also for 7 days is how long it takes for hair to grow, the minimum. Hareini nazir shleishim. I'll be a nazir for 30 days. The nitma yom shleishim became tamei on the 30th days itself. So he said as hakol. It says in the Mishnah that you lose everything. And like polig Rabbi Lezer, why does Rabbi Lezer argue in this case here as well? Before, in the case where he says a nazir, Rabbi Lezer says that in the case where he said you're nazir and you cut your hair on the 30th day itself, Rabbi Lezer says you don't lose out your you're not saying your whole naziris. So why in this case if he doesn't argue as well? When you say harein nazir shleishim yom, what's the difference? So we answer. The reason is because when you added the word shleishim yom, as if you said 30 complete days. That's why. If you say you'll be another 100 days, when it became tamei yom meya on the 100 days, says hakol, you lose everything. And Rabbi Lezer says ain't a says of shleishim. You have a pasuk, you only learn the way you may nizra 30 days. You have to redo. But kula kid the havina, the entire Mishnah can be totally understood if you follow liba the bapoda, but of masna you follow either bapoda or you follow masna, and way we learned before. We explained as we explained. Next Mishnah. Misha Nazar, if somebody decided to become a Nazar and he was standing inside the cemetery at the time, who basically in the cemetery, even did not budge, did not move from the cemetery for 30 days, he does not Of course, these 30 days are not counted part of the Zidis, but nor do you have to bring a carbon for Tumah. When do you bring a carbon for Tumah? You started out Torah and then you became tummy sometime in the interim, so you have to then, 7 days, get sprayed. We're talking about tummy mace only, get sprinkled on the third day, the 7th day, and then you would go to the mikveh, then you bring the kabbanas. Over here, you would tummy from the start, from get-go. You took upon yourself Naziris in the cemetery. So therefore, you don't bring a carbon, you don't bring kabbanas at all. Whether you take a haircut will be a discussion in the Gemara. Then maybe come to me, you don't mean a come to at all. But Yotza the Nichnas, if you went out and then you came back in, then so you were out and you went to the mikveh and everything else, you came back in, you were tired for a few minutes, you were nazir, and then you became tummy again, then a minion. Then now already you started your Naziris already. You started your Naziris. Maybe carbon tumah. Now you have to bring a carbon tumah. What do you mean oilam and minion? Oilam and minion is that now you consider a nazir. So if you become tummy again, it's as if you became tummy during your naziris, even if it's on the same day. And now, when you finish the second tumah, you have to bring karbanas and take the haircut and so on. Rabbi says, not if it's on the same day. The same day you became Torah, you became tummy again, that doesn't count. You don't bring your kabbanas of tumah. How do I know that? Because there's a pasuk about hayamim harishayim yiplu. But when you become tameh, you lose out the first days. It's written in plural, so you had to be in the second day of Nazir. That's you have to have at least 2 days. Says we have an interesting machlekes of Yechon and Shlakish. We're going to understand the machlekes one way, then we're going to modify it, and the conclusion will be that Shlakish is going to be repudiated. But the argument is very simple. If you right now we understand the argument is going to be you took upon yourself Naziris while you're standing in a cemetery. The whole thing is a mockery. The whole idea of Naziris is that you shouldn't become tameh and you're standing in a cemetery, but you are. So we say that you don't bring carbon to and everything else. But the question is, did you become a Nazir? Did you become a Nazir at all yet or not? You're not going to bring kabbanas to them. So is the pshat you're a Nazir right now, but you're not. But not as far as Tumah is concerned. Or do we say no? You're not a Nazir until you step outside first, and then you have to be makabel Naziris again, because whatever you did in the cemetery is meaningless. And you have to do it again. Says the Gemara. Itma we learned Misha Nazar, who basically you stood in the cemetery while you decided to become a Nazir. Rabbi Yechon said Naziris Chol Allah. Rabbi Yechon says that Naziris falls on you, and in other words, you are a Nazir except that the laws of Tumah. You don't bring a carbon Tumah. However, that means if you are standing in the cemetery and you decide to drink wine, and we warn you, don't drink wine, then you'll get malchus for drinking wine because you are a nazir. And the second thing is, when you come out of the cemetery, eventually you go to mikveh, you don't have to accept upon yourself naziris again. You already are a nazir. The Shlaki says, "Ein nazir chalav." There's no naziris at all, and if you drank wine, you don't get punished. And in fact, when you finish when you step out of the cemetery, you become Torah, you have to accept upon yourself naziris again. Says the Gemara, somebody would tell you when you became a Nazir, it's somewhere suspended in the cloud, became it's there. Keeping the Mashach, the herd, as soon as you become Mishkach Torah, as soon as you become Torah, the whole thing comes on you, the whole Nazir is. You have as far as Tumah is concerned, now you become a Nazir as well, and you'll have to bring Kabbanas if you become Tummy again. However, the Shlaki says, there's no Naziris. After if you become Torah, if you said again, I accept Naziris, you will become a Nazir. If you don't, you don't. He asked a question directly from Mishnah. It says, Mishnah, you declared that you'll become a Nazir. And you're standing in a cemetery, even with their 30 days, it does not get counted. What do you mean it doesn't get counted? Of course it doesn't get counted. Tell me. It doesn't get counted as far as carbon tumah. You don't bring a carbon tumah. We exclude you from a carbon. The ainu maybe carbon tumah. Now what? And it spells out. You don't bring a carbon tumah. Sounds from here. Carbon tumah le'mais. Sounds from here. The only thing you don't do is you don't bring a carbon of tumah. But a nazir you are. That's what it sounds like. So it's a kasha shloki just says that there's no naziris at all. No. The pshat in the Mishnah is einay b'toides tumah, not that he doesn't have to bring a carbon tumah. The laws of tumah do not matter here because you're not a nazir. Einay b'toides carbon, and if the laws of the carbon don't apply. Okay, H last another question. It says in Nebraisa, Misha Hoya, the tummy. If someone was tummy, Nazar, and he decided to become a Nazir. Also, legalech is clearly you're not allowed to take a haircut, leave this yain, nor can you drink wine all the time in the mason, or to contaminate yourself. So it's clearly you're a Nazir already. Being gilach, v'shasa yain, v'nit the mason. If you took a haircut, drank wine, it contaminates yourself. Hareza seifik is abayim. Clear, you're a full-fledged Nazir, and you will get malchus. So yeah, but if you learn like Rabbi Yechon that when you accepted Naziris while you're in the cemetery, you became a Nazir. So then it makes sense. Higher times you'll get malchus, 40 malchus, even though you don't bring a carbon, but in every other respect, you're a Nazir. Eliyamid, you're lucky that you do not become a Nazir if you accept it while you're standing in the cemetery until you go outside and you become Torah, you declare and you accept it again. And my side figures are boim. Why taka do you get malchus? And so the Gemara, who said that you're still in the cemetery? It's talking about a case where the Yaitse, you went out of the cemetery and you went to the mikveh and you brought your kabbanas, and then the nichnis you went in a second time. Now that you were Torah and you went in a second time, you're a full-fledged Nazir and everything applies. So what's the chiddush? If you're a full-fledged Nazir, you go in the cemetery, of course you get malchus. What's the chiddush? The chiddush is that you don't have to say when you come out of the cemetery, I will become Nazir as if from scratch. I can say, that ned that I made last week, I'm going to go through with it. And that's enough. And that's the chiddush here. You don't have to make a proper ned properly. Again, it's enough to rely on what you did last time. Or another chiddush here is that as soon as you come out of the cemetery and you become Torah, you have a chiyuv to accept Naziris. Otherwise, you'll be liable for Baal Ta'ach. You'll be liable for delaying a promise that you have made. So anyway, further Eichel asks another question. It says, Ein bein tamei shenoda l'nazir Torah. There's no difference whether somebody standing in a cemetery accepted upon themselves Naziris, or if you were a Nazir Torah that you became tamei. They're both the same. But what is the difference? There's one difference. If a Talmudic person in the cemetery accepting Naziris, as soon as he goes out and he waits the 7 days, he doesn't bring any kabbanas. So the very 7th day, on the 7th day, he starts already his new Naziris. The 7th day, he becomes the new Naziris. If you're a Talmudic Nazir that became Tameh, you have to wait 7 days. You need to wait till the following morning because to bring your kabbanas, because it's ma'akiv. You cannot start your Naziris. If you were Tameh in the cemetery and you have to wait 7 days, and normally we say you have to wait till sunset, that's very weak, and therefore you can start the Naziris even before sunset. But if you need to wait for your kabbanas for the following day, then that prevents you from becoming a Nazir. So the Nazir his 7th day does not start the new count. You have to wait till the next day. Now, that's the only difference it sounds like from there. But if you're going to tell me, you can tell me that what? That if you're a Nazir standing in the cemetery, you say you're not a Nazir at all. Why is this counted as part of the minyan? Since he did not. It sounds like from here. It sounds like from here that as soon as he finishes the 7, if you were in a cemetery and you accepted your Naziris, and then you went out and you became Torah, you waited the 7 days. On that 7th day starts your new Naziris, and it sounds like from the Mishnah it's automatic. You don't have to stand there and be makabel the Naziris; it's automatic. And the problem is, the Shlaki said that there's no Naziris and you have to accept it from scratch. It sounds from here that it's automatic. And to answer that, it's talking about that you actually are accepting it again. It doesn't sound like that from the Mishnah, because then there's more than one difference. That in the other case you don't have to start it, you don't have to accept it again. It continues naturally, and here you have to accept it again. So the Gemara says you're right. Ravashi says, I'm going to redefine, I'm going to modify their argument. Everyone agrees if you're standing in the cemetery, which you shouldn't be accepting Nazir when you're accepting Nazir, but if you did, the Nazir is chal. You're a Nazir. So what's the argument? Milki. Will you get malchus for the tumah that you're in right now? Rabbi Yechon holds, you are warned, don't accept Naziris while you're in the cemetery. Yechon holds, keeping the chayla lucky. Since you became a Nazir and you're standing in the cemetery, you will get malchus. And Yishlaki savar loy lucky. Yishlaki says you don't get malchus, but you do become a Nazir.